Episode of ATS Live. Here we're on Facebook and on YouTube. So my name is Robbie. I'm a lead recruiter here at ATS. We are here to talk to you about how to be profitable when the spot market freights are a little lower. And to talk a little more about that, I brought in a special guest.
My name is Blake Hegberg. I'm an operations manager with the ATS Van Division. I guess this is a relevant topic, very relevant topic to everybody right now. This is my first one, so if you see me veering off at the screen, it's because I'm trying to learn while we're going through this. I mean, it's no secret right now that the spot market has not tanked, but it has slowly dropped. From December of this year to mid-April, it has dropped 37%, which you feel it, especially if you're a driver that likes to book their own freight, run out west, kind of do their own thing. It's starting to get a little tighter for those drivers.
Yeah, absolutely. So, 2020, 2021, into early 2022, money was absolutely phenomenal. It was through the roof. Everybody was making a fortune. So at some point, there had to be a little bit of lightening up with it, and that's what we're seeing now. So I see some comments coming in. There's David, I saw Rachel and Michael said hi from Rhode Island. Rachel's in Rhode Island. Michael's in the terminal in Channelview. So thanks for joining us, everybody. I know Samantha put a comment out there to tell us where you're watching from, so we like to see that. And we're kind of stalling here before we get into the meat of it to allow a few more people to join. But they're popping in now. So, hey, Samantha. So, Blake, we want to talk about just, everybody kind of knows that the market's softening up. What are those like 1, 2, 3 things?
Thanks, Austin.
That's funny. What are those couple things that are just at the top of the list of what drivers can do to still be profitable in a softer market?
Yeah, so it is what it is. 2018 was a phenomenal year. 2019 was a little bit slower. 2020 and 2021 were pretty awesome, right? I think we could all say that. You could take 2 weeks off, 3 weeks off, and come back and in 1 or 2 loads be completely caught up if you're a contractor. Right now that's slowing down. I get distracted by the comments. So sorry, I'm new.
That's okay. Hey, Chad.
Some of the things you're going to have to do is kind of go back to a little bit of the grind of what we did in 2019 too. So, limiting the excess home time that we're taking, staying in customer freight markets. The customer market is still really good, but it's when you get outside of our head haul and back haul markets that you are going to see those lesser paying loads, specifically in the van world. If you're taking loads west of I-35, you can expect to be hauling fuel back, right? I mean, you're going to take $4 a mile going out there, but you're going to haul $1 coming back. And it's just all about kind of staying with the customer freight right now while things are a little bit softer.
Samantha says she's on a crane account and doing very well. So good to hear, Samantha. I see Austin and David going back and forth. That's fun. So yes, that's definitely a top one. The home time gets to be you got to limit it. When we're at this in this kind of market, stay on 95 on the van side. Austin says so. Austin must be doing well there, so that's a good customer lane for us, I'm sure. So, and
there's still really good freight opportunities. Currently right now we're looking for drivers to run dedicated out of Front Royal, Virginia and Marianna, Florida. We have a spot opening in Villa Rica, Georgia on dedicated. We have HHG kicking off. We started that this week. By the end of the month, so by June we should be up to 50 trucks. By mid-June we should be at 65 trucks running dedicated HHG. So that's going to free up a lot of capacity in our market. The benefit of running with a carrier like ATS as opposed to like I don't know if I can say other carriers on this, but like Landstars or things like that, is they're very susceptible to the changing markets, and carriers like ATS, where we have strong, long relationships with customers, we are less subject to those ebbs and flows that in the current market.
Yeah, the customer contracts mean a lot, and most of them still allow us to capture the spot market when the market is good, but has some protections in place for the drivers, so it doesn't get as bad. So another one would be, just the days of grabbing, picking and choosing the big dollar loads. Might want to reevaluate that kind of business plan and go more towards, let's keep the tires turning.
Yep, keep the truck moving. In a good market, you can afford to sit an extra day to get that really good load. But in a slower market, that might be the only load you see for a day or so. Especially going into the weekend, it's crucial that you're staying on top of your fleet managers and making sure that they're keeping you running through the weekend. It might be the least desirable load you want to be on, but it's better than not moving the truck, right? One way I always like to look at it is, from a contractor standpoint, is, Monday, Tuesday, take care of my deductions. Wednesday, you're covering, some of your variables and fuel costs, and then, Thursday through the weekend, those are your money loads, the ones that you're seeing on your paycheck.
Yep, absolutely. So Chad had a question. Do we know how the blades pay? Are they on this upside pay? So Chad, give me a call in the morning. I haven't talked to you in a while anyways, so we'll get that for you. I don't believe so, but I want to be 100%. So give me a call in the morning. I'll get that answer for you.
Got Austin. So Austin had two of them. So Austin, you asked if the pay is the same on Family Dollar. Yes, that is this pay is the same. They're going 6 days a week. The benefit of that is if you live in a 250-mile radius, usually of the DCs there, that you're able to get home every single weekend. Your second one was HHG. What's needed for the HHG loads? HHG dedicated, we outfit all of our guys and gals at our terminals. They get a trailer with a camera in it. You get between 150 to 250 pads, which I know who's on here, everybody loves folding pads. And then roughly about 20 straps. And that consists of moving military families. And we have crews both load your trailer and offload your trailer. So your responsibility really would be just to making sure that goes somewhat smoothly and folding pads and organizing at the end in your trailer.
Yeah. Hey, Juan in Jacksonville. You're always in Florida, I think, Juan. David said he's got something going on. He's home every day this week. Leaves at 4:30 a.m. Pick up home by 3. That's a pretty good gig.
That is pretty sweet.
Austin come to Specialized. They're going back and forth. How is the Hazmat loads ATS trying to get?
How is the Hazmat loads ATS?
I'm not.
I guess if you're referring to if we're going after more Hazmat freight, yes and no. If the opportunity's there, we'll go after it. We have probably about 25% might be stretching it, probably more sort of 20% of our fleet on the van side specifically is Hazmat certified. Some of the other Hazmat opportunities that could come in the future would be things with like DOD, which I'm sure everybody watching is very familiar with and trying to break into different sectors of DOD. Yeah.
So JJ asks, are the lower rates affecting flatbed company drivers' percentage pay? So that's a great question. So the percentage stays the same. That average CPM we have seen kind of tick down a few cents, but we are still up and above 85 cents a mile average. The last week average, and this ebbs and flows, but the last week average I believe I saw was 93 cents. That's a fleet-wide average. That's still phenomenal money, even as the market gets softer. That company pays still really good. So Roger, I don't have an answer to your question about Omni.
If you would have asked me in December, I would have told you dead set that 8.2 and 7.3 were going to be January 8th. But as you know, with Omni tracks and the Omni One system, those things keep getting pushed. So I do not have a set date. I can tell you when that is going to happen, but I can tell you that we are pushing for it to happen.
Yeah. Austin, live in Tampa, wasn't for me. So do I talk to Jay about doing it?
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to talk to Jay about doing HHG, he'll get you all the information you need. He's been through, every season we've ever had of HHG from day one, so he knows the name of the game there.
Yeah, Chad says Specialized is going to be able to haul hazmat. Chad, I don't know if they're going after any hazmat customers on the open deck side, so I'll have to circle back with you. I hate to use that phrase, but that's what I got to do. So call me in the morning. JJ says still really good. So we talked about limiting home time, keeping the wheels turning. Are there any off topics? Just the things that drivers can do when they're out there on the road, whether it be trip planning or meal planning, fuel planning. What are the things that are biggest for the drivers? We've talked about the big two.
Yep, so fuel is huge, right? And you guys are probably, I see David, you can see my eyes going back and forth. You guys are probably sick of seeing my Qualcomm messages and hearing about it, but I won't stop preaching it as the idling, right? That the biggest bang for your buck is going to be in your fuel tank. There's a lot of things you can do to make your truck more fuel efficient just off of simple driving behaviors. Which we touch base on a video that Sam and I just did, so that'll be coming out soon. And right now we just got an announcement today that they're starting to see some fuel shortages up towards the northeast, so you can probably expect seeing some information either go out on the tablets or through your fleet managers, but it's pretty isolated to the northeast. But trip planning, limiting your deadhead miles, limiting your outer route miles to get where you're going. That's huge. Plan your day. You see some people that will not plan until the last 30 minutes of their day, and then they spend that 30 minutes and go over their day by just trying to find a truck stop. Really, at the end of the day, you're just wasting fuel by doing that if you're not properly setting yourself up for success.
So Samantha says, that's a good point. Download the EFS app. ATS app shows the wrong price too often. I fueled based on ATS app and got not even half the discount ATS showed. So I can touch on that, but I
know a lot about it too.
Okay, Blake's going to go ahead and talk about this one for sure.
So this is a great thing to bring up, Samantha, and this is not just with ATS. This is with every carrier's programs with fuel discounts. So typically, fuel was changing 1, maybe 2 times a day. Ever since everything kind of got crazy, especially Ukraine, the fuel prices, all of that, we're seeing fuel prices that are changing 5 to 6 times a day, sometimes multiple times in an hour. So the app doesn't update real time. That's usually once or twice a day, sometimes only once. But so the best thing to do is if you're planning a fuel stop, call ahead to that TA and see what their current fuel price is advertising, because worst case scenario, that's the price you're going to pay. And there's always going to be a little bit of a lag, generally about 6 hours with the app.
Yep. And so I was going to say that, but a lot less. I didn't have as much detail. So I'm glad you covered that. But you did touch on something earlier, and we skimmed right past it, was you got a video coming up.
Yeah.
And I think right now we're going to ask Sam to put up the link to our Learning Center, because those videos and all these articles that we're doing, we're building a Learning Center within the Drive4ATS website. And it is truly just to help drivers, period. Not necessarily ATS drivers, certainly ATS drivers, but it's not ATS specific information. There are some articles in there that talk about what are the best trucking companies to get your CDL with. There's so many articles in there. I think we're right around 100 articles We're getting close to that in videos.
Geared towards every driver, not just, I think you said it, but not towards ATS drivers, just everybody in general.
Yep, absolutely. So make sure you visit that learning center, share that learning center there. Samantha put it up there. Thank you for that. I did have a comment here that I don't want to just cruise over because we invite these. So David Bragg asks, when are van lease drivers going to get multiple load offers to choose from like Flatbed does?
David, how you doing? I was sitting with your brother yesterday in the driver lunches. That was a good time. They had a lot of good questions. So we do multiple load offers, but it's a little bit different. It's not 3 load offers to 1 truck. In certain David, I think I know what you're talking about, and if that's good news, then I'm very happy for you. I'll give you a shout tomorrow. So the multiple load offers, we will, if we have, like 4 drivers in one area and we have a handful of loads, we'll offer that load out or those loads out to those drivers that are in that area. The first one who wants to pick it gets it. That was by request because our van drivers were wanting that. What we found out is once we started doing that a lot of them weren't liking it because they were getting the load offers while they were driving and they weren't able to accept it quick enough. Right now with our customer base and density, just because we're so tight with our asset freight and we're focused primarily on hauling our asset freight, not just spot market stuff. So we're not like a Swift or Schneider where we'll have 100 loads in one spot and we give our drivers 5 and broker the rest. We're hauling our actual asset customers. So I don't know if we'll get to a point where we're offering 3-4 loads and you can pick through it. You're more than welcome to go through our Sureway board and pick your loads there. If you see something you like, your fleet manager can definitely pull it down for you. Hopefully that kind of answered your question.
I think it did. So I did have a question in there. How much is the CPM? So just a quick answer on that. We're a percentage-based company. We do have a minimum protect on the CPM, but our averages since we went to this new percentage, week over week has been at or above 85 cents a mile fleet-wide. So 85 cents a mile is what we talk about, and to be honest with you, we're being conservative with that number. So if you've got other questions though, recruiting@atsinc.com. Send it in. We will have a recruiter follow up with you, get all your questions answered, because we do truly feel in our recruiting office like we don't even call ourselves recruiters. We call ourselves driver consultants, because there are many times where I'm talking to a driver and oh man, this is a driver we'd really love to have. Look at this work history. Look at this safety. And it comes down to we couldn't meet their needs. I have no problem telling them, hey, we're not able to meet your needs, but here's a couple articles on our learning center. Take a look at them, and they might help you pick a different company that would better suit what you're looking for. So we truly do take a lot of pride in the fact that we're consulting drivers. ATS has been the same.
And not every driver is a fit for our program, and you guys talk them through that as well.
Absolutely, yep. Call me tomorrow, headed out, got to be up around 2 a.m. Good night, Chad. Thanks. What load boards can we use? Austin asks.
So you can go to brokeredloads.com and that'll go to Sureway Transportation, which is it is our logistics company.
Yep.
There's also a app for that as well.
Yep, and since you bring that up, so we're excited here at ATS. We rolled it out here a couple weeks ago. We are starting a program called Fusion, and it is truly for true owner-operators. We don't have it for internal lease. If you're leasing a truck from, whatever's leasing company out there, that is essentially the same as somebody who owns their truck outright, and you want to come on and have the complete freedom to do essentially whatever you want. Pull off of our load board, pull off of others' load boards. Whether you bring your own trailer or rent a trailer from us, it is a completely different program than what we've been for the last 68 years.
Yep.
So again, that email is in there, recruiting@ATS Inc. If that is something that interests you, give us a call. I believe we either have an article about that or we're rolling one out soon. But check in on the Learning Center for that as well.
There's a good question about Illinois.
Okay.
Do you guys do local in Illinois home daily?
Yep.
That kind of can fluctuate. I wouldn't say home daily, but we do have our Midwest market. Our Midwest market is based off of two different groups of drivers who go home every other weekend and drivers who go home every weekend. So a lot of those Midwest drivers are going, they're working either Sunday through Friday or Monday through Friday, and then they're going home on the weekend, and they're isolated to that Midwest pocket.
David says, can you see if the IT people can get the ATS load board app is available for iPhone?
Who said that?
David Elvers.
Yeah, I guess I didn't know it wasn't. So
Yeah.
Personally, I've always just looked up on it by going brokeredloads.com, but I can certainly look into that for sure.
Okay. So, James, where can I get a swag shirt like yours?
Is that mine or?
Must be yours.
Yeah, I think I got this a couple years ago on one of my anniversaries. I don't think you can buy it, but yeah,
You can
I wish I had a couple more of them.
My question is why is it when I have a load I run that is a solid live unload time, I have to wait for a load instead of having a load waiting for me? I like to trip, plan, and roll. Maybe you can speak to that.
So this was brought up during our executive launches as well. That's a very good point. So right now on the van side, I believe we said we were at 45% for being pre-planned, and we actually measure when our drivers are delivering off and have a load already assigned to them versus when they're already delivered off and get one assigned to them. So we're always trying to increase that number. We're never going to be perfect. Some of the things, especially I know James, you run in the southeast, kind of southeast because you're on Emily's board, right? But those are shorter length of hauls, and usually what we found out is when we stack things up in the southeast specifically, if you get hung up on one of those loads, it'll have a trickle effect and it'll ruin the other two loads, and then we have to find last minute recovery options. So I can tell you we are trying to increase and be better at keeping drivers pre-planned, but if you look at us compared to other companies, I would say that we do a very good job of keeping our drivers pre-planned. But that could also be indicative of the market too. If you're not in a head haul, back haul market, or you're not where our asset freight's readily available, we have customer service reps that are out there that are trying to book freight real time. And that's a lot of negotiating. They're kind of like sometimes I feel like the logistics world is like the Wolf of Wall Street, trying to negotiate and get the rates and freight and all that stuff. I can tell you when a truck's sitting, nobody likes when a truck is sitting, and it gets really crazy on Friday afternoons as well if we're going into a weekend and a truck is sitting, because it is all hands on deck to get that driver moved. And sometimes we can't get it moved, but that's kind of the unfortunate side of the business, right?
Yeah, and I love your answer. I love you brought up the percentages, and that we know where we're at and that we want to improve.
Yep.
Across the board, ATS is like that. When I'm talking to drivers, and they ask that question, I don't know the percentages, but I tell them, listen, we do a lot of things better than most. But we know we're not perfect, and we are always striving to be better in every aspect of what we do. And there's just to what you just said, that speaks to, there's meetings about specifically how can we get better at these things.
Yep.
Damn Speedy, I love ATS. Good.
Thank you. I do too.
Yeah, I do too. Blake, how long you been here? 4
years now. Wow. It's been a very fast 4 years.
That has been fast. Yeah. I'm rolling up on 8 years pretty quick here, and it seems like just yesterday, but it seems like yesterday I interviewed and I said, listen, you have me until my son graduates high school. Well, now my son's graduating this month, and now they're stuck with me until I retire. So, sorry, ATS. Do you have forced dispatch? Do you Midwest drivers have to drive the Northeast?
Really good question. So our company side, the term forced dispatch is always so negative. Our company side is forced dispatch, yes, but we do take things into consideration. Drivers' home times, some of the routing requests if they have them, if they need certain places or aren't comfortable with things, we take all that into consideration. So that's the company side. On the contractor side, you can accept, reject. If you are rejecting a load, we just ask that you provide us a reason why you're rejecting so that we can find something that would meet your needs. And then specifically about the Midwest and Northeast, our Midwest drivers really stick to the Midwest unless they want to get out and stretch their legs. We'll let them do that. Same with like our Southeast Regional. We have the Southeast Regional drivers too. They primarily stay in the Southeast, but if they say, hey, I want to get out on a long run and then come back, we'll do that. But there's not a ton of Northeast driving. If you're in the Midwest, you might take a load to like Ohio or Pennsylvania and then right back into your market. If you want to, being a contractor, you have the option to accept or reject.
Yep, and I'm glad you talked about that forced dispatch being kind of the evil word out there. And I always approach it like this, and it's essentially the same thing you said is, yeah, I mean, you're dispatched and you're expected to do as a company driver, but it's not a dictatorship. You have a conversation with your driver manager. Now, if it's every single load, we're going to have problems just because everything we do is customer freight and we've got to get those customers taken care of. But a one-off, once in a while, hey, I'd like to do this versus that. You have that conversation with your driver manager. That's what they're there for.
Yeah, and at ATS, it's not. I don't know. And a lot of the guys on here who are current drivers, you can speak to it. It's you don't come here and get a dispatcher. You don't come here and get somebody that's just punching buttons. You actually get, a business advisor, right? They're there to help you, and they care about you. They care about your wants and needs and your business goals. They're here to work with you. You're not a truck number. I think the majority of the time, people answer the phone by the first name. I know if you call me, I'll usually answer with your first name.
Yep.
And I don't really know truck numbers. I just know the drivers. So. Is there a Texas regional? So no, and that wouldn't fall into our Southeast regional either. Texas, we will have rollout loads out of Texas for like fixtures, things like that. On the van world, I can't really speak to the flatbed side. And then we'll also have some Walmart dedicated opportunities. But that's throughout the year, that's nothing that's consistent all the time.
Hit and miss, yep. Never had my name or truck number mentioned. Well, it's good we didn't mention your truck number. But yeah, I mean, it is, yeah, we go by names up there too. People will call us and they'll be like, hey, this is Eric, and they rattle off a number. I'm like, hey, hang on, Eric, I know who this is.
Yeah.
So, we're quickly approaching 5:30. These things go pretty quick.
Yeah, they do.
So tonight, our real focus was on this new article, new blog coming out. How to be profitable when the spot market's down, when it's a little soft. And I hope we've covered a little bit on that. Again, I invite you to go check out the Learning Center. It's going to be on there. I believe it's rolling out this week yet. But there's going to be a number of other articles on there that'll be of benefit to you too. Samantha says they always answer, "Hey, sunshine."
Yeah, I hear Emily. She sits right by me.
Does anything come with the truck? Refrigerator, microwave, TV, APU, etc. So, good question. You want to field it?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So, on the company side, yes, we have started putting refrigerators in trucks. Our company trucks have APUs. You would supply your own TV and your own microwave. On the contractor side, in our long-term leases, we do have options available for APUs. And drivers can put trucks in a refrigerator, but if you were to return the truck, at lease end, what have you, it would be your responsibility to Vicky usually yells at me. Sorry, that got me off.
Yeah.
I can hear Vicky too.
It doesn't surprise any of us.
But it would be up to you to return your truck back to its natural state. So if you had to remove cabinets, get it approved from us, when you turned your truck back in, we would expect that those cabinets were put back in place.
Yep. So there are options. So we're at the 5:30 mark. And we try to limit it to exactly 30 minutes for a number of reasons. Most of all, to be respectful of your time, make sure that you know we're consistent. So if you took anything away from tonight, how to be profitable in a softer market, we hope it's been a benefit to you. Any last closing comments on this, Blake?
No, this was fun. I like to see the turnout. It's both on vans and flats, the drivers I knew, and it's good to see everybody going back and forth.
Yeah, been a lot of fun. We thank you for joining us. If you're watching this after hours, you're watching it in the middle of the night, you're watching it tomorrow, you're watching it this weekend, and you've got a question that wasn't talked about, throw it in the comments. We'll be on there monitoring, and we will get you the answers you need. Otherwise, thank you for joining us for another episode of ATS Live, and everybody have a great night.
Night, guys and gals.